I'm Amber Mercer, and this is Christian, and she's come to see me today about some issues she's been having. Hi, Christian. How are you doing today?
Doing good.
What are the reasons you've come to see me today?
Well, I've been experiencing anger issues, and I have some conflicting feelings about who I am regarding my culture.
Okay. Which one would you like to address first?
Well, I feel like both issues kind of play hand in hand. Just from growing up, I've experienced my anger issues is getting a little bit more worse, I guess you could say, just by stemming from the confusion of not knowing who I am.
Okay. And you say you don't know who you are. You're having conflictions with that. Could you elaborate more into that?
Let's see. The confliction comes from being biracial and not knowing where one half of me comes from. Not knowing in more detail of like my heritage and things like my family lineage and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. And why don't you know? You say you don't know one side of it. Why is that?
Well, when I was younger, I never understood why I didn't know who my father was, and it turns out that my mom never told me, and that she still hasn't told me, and I've asked her before, and she kind of just brushes that topic off. So I guess when I say I don't know who I am, that's kind of what I meant as far as that goes, because I don't know who my father is and where that part of my family comes from.
Okay, so you feel that your anger resonates from your mother holding that information back, and it stops you from knowing that side of your culture.
Yes, because growing up, my peers and I going through school, they used to always ask me what my nationality was, and I would say mixed. But then they would say like I don't look like I'm half black. I look like I'm half Mexican, and everybody always had their own kind of thought, and I could never really just confirm which is what and what I really am, and then it's just hard to identify with that with both sides because I'm not really sure.
How do you identify with your European culture?
I would say I identify with that side a little bit better than I would with my African American side, just because it's what I was raised around, it's what I've always been around. It's who I identify with when I'm in school, just because it's a lot easier to go into that because it's a predominant side of me that I know. But I wouldn't say like if I personally when I identify with them, there's just a difference there because I am two different cultures, not just one. And I feel like I have a fluidity of flowing between one culture to the next. So I never just had to stick with one like group of friends.
Well, that would be a positive thing of being biracial. Okay. How do you tell me about how not knowing your African American heritage has affected you while growing up?
More of like going through high school. Like for example, walking through the halls, I never really just got along with the black girls in my school. There were some that I would, and those were typically the ones that hung out with predominantly white people. And there were some black girls that I could get along with, but it was just like they always viewed me as the outsider and not more as part of their heritage. So it wasn't like they were just all gung ho to be my friend. It was more like I was just there. But they acknowledged me, but I still didn't feel like I was there.
Do you feel like the white kids did that as well, or were they more accepting?
For the most part, they were more accepting, but there are times where I caught myself feeling like I was just the background. I wasn't more of being like I wasn't more recognized for being who I am. It was just more of just like I was just there. But it was always different than interacting with my other side, like the other part of my heritage, just because like one is more accepted than the other, and then it's like say like some of the black girls would just be rude about it, and like the white girls like they might not have just been all that open, but they weren't as rude about it. So
has it affected your life now that you are out of school and we're in the working world and in your adult life?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily as bad now that I'm out of school. It's manageable, just because I feel like now that I've grown up, I've experienced some things, and with some of the issues that are going on in the world, I feel like it's just a little bit more easier to get an insight on my African American heritage, and I've been identifying more with some black females. Like for instance, at my job, I've recently got really close with an African American female, and like we've identified with each other a lot on some similar things that we've experienced, and I feel like slowly but surely I'm working on becoming more comfortable on getting myself out there when it comes to my other side of my heritage, and just trying to learn from other people who are closer in tune with our roots and learning from them rather than looking to my mom to help me understand.
And what do you think that could happen that would help you understand your African American heritage better?
Well, I feel like knowing my dad would definitely help. But I mean, it's more of not necessarily directly where my family comes from. It's more just like getting in touch with my roots. That some of the things my mom can't explain to me just because she wouldn't necessarily personally know, and like just hearing like some of the things that my friends do, like my African American friends, what they've done with their family and their kind of like traditions and things like that. I'm interested in things like that, and I want to know why and when they do it and what for and things like that. And like I can look to my friends to give me more insight on that rather than having to just guess. Like I'll have personal accounts of the experiences that they've had.
So if you were able to find your father and your other side of the family, they would be able to help you understand their traditions and their cultural values and beliefs and just their worldview in general?
Yes, and then on top of that, it would also, discovering the other side of our family would also just help me understand more of some of the traits that I have. Just because, like, there are some things that I do that, like, my mom or anybody else in my family doesn't do. So, it just kind of would be nice to know, like, where I get some of the things that I pick up on. Like, it would be nice to know where I get those from.
Okay. So, have you, back to the anger issues, have you, where do you think the anger comes in to play?
Well, whenever, like, if I'm sitting there with my friends and they say something, like, predominantly, like, say, like, for instance, like, the Black Lives Matter movement, if I was, like, in social media, if I was to, like, partake in an argument or a discussion that was going on regarding that movement, then, like, either side could be like, aren't you part white, aren't you part black, like, you can't really just agree with one side, and it feels like I have to ride the fence just because I am biracial, and then, like, some people will say that I don't really know anything about the Black Lives Matter movement just because I am white, I have white inside, like, I'm mixed with white, and I feel like when people try to just label me as one race and not the other, it just kind of puts me in a box, and I don't feel like that's fair. And then just knowing how people treat me based on me being biracial, it also just kind of, like, upsets me to know that they don't really see me for me, they just see me for, like what I'm mixed with,
Mm-hmm.
and then it also plays a part just because like some friends will ask me questions about my family and trying to just understand like why I act the way I act and why I feel the way I feel, and it's kind of like it's frustrating, yes, but at the same time it's really confusing and it's because like I can't answer their questions because like I can't even answer them for myself. So like I feel like that plays a part, and then just the feeling of not knowing, like that also keys into it.
Okay. So, I guess you're angry because you you don't like being put in a box or under a certain label, and that society doesn't allow you to identify with one specific because you are both. But you feel that you should be able to side with either one. Again, because you are both.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Well, well, I think that this was a good first session, and that next session we will work towards identifying other reasons that trigger your anger, as well as finding ways that can help you identify more into your culture and exploring both of those aspects. Is that okay with you?
Perfect.
Okay, great.